Well, hello everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I talk about 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 o'clock newscast. Happy Tuesday, everyone. If you were watching Before the Four yesterday, you might have noticed about 10-11 minutes into yesterday's stream, the camera just turned completely black, and you probably are wondering what occurred there. That was a technical difficulty here on our end, but hopefully, knock on wood, that issue is now resolved. But regardless, thank you so much for watching Before the Four today and spending just a bit of your Tuesday afternoon here with me. We have a lot to get into today, so I think it is about that time we started off. And now, starting things off in Morgan County, where a Priceville man who was accused of killing his ex-wife will now have his case sent to a grand jury after waiving today's preliminary hearing. Now, Zachary Merriman, who you're currently seeing on screen, is accused of shooting and killing his ex-wife, Kimberly Ricks, back in October. Ricks's family says she tried to get a protection from abuse order against Merriman, but it was denied. Merriman remains in the Morgan County Jail without bond. And now in Marshall County, where a Grant man was arrested on human trafficking charges late last night. The Marshall County Sheriff's Office says the stop happened on Highway 431 near the Marshall-Madison County line. After deputies verified the identity of the driver as 37-year-old Adam Ashley, he was arrested on charges connected to a grand jury indictment. The charges included 2 counts of human trafficking in the first degree, with one indicating a victim was under the age of 16. Ashley was previously arrested in August on charges of transmitting obscene material to a child and electronic solicitation of a child. Ashley is in the Marshall County Jail with no bond pending an Anaya's Law hearing. And 48's Callie Neese will have more details on this situation coming up in our evening newscast. And now we got to talk about the weather. A rainy and gloomy day today here in North Alabama. Also, an earthquake happened overnight in Walker County. That's right, it was a 2.4 magnitude earthquake over in the Sipsey area around 10 last night. But now let's turn over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis to see how the rest of the week might pan out. Brad?
Yeah, AJ, it's that time of year we get these big weather pattern changes and we're transitioning. And as we do so, we've got cooler air coming in. You're going to really notice it as we go through the day tomorrow, not necessarily tonight. Some drizzle, poor visibility, fog, and then the winds really start picking up. A cool weekend. You see that behind me. We could see a frost and a freeze Saturday morning. Here's a look at the satellite and the radar. You can see that area expanding. The drizzle really starting to pick up from Florence to Athens, and this will continue as we go through the rest of the night. Secondary area of this storm system is back here off to the northwest in Kansas. That will start to come in as we go through the day tomorrow. That won't bring us any additional rain, but it will increase the wind and temperatures will begin dropping. Here's 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice we start off pretty much where our normal high temperatures for the day usually are. But as we go through the late morning hours, by noon, we've got this strong northwest wind gusting to about 25 to 30 miles an hour. Sunshine returns, but it is going to be brisk out there. Temperatures around 60, but it'll feel more like the 50s. Now, as we turn the page into Wednesday night into Thursday, we start dropping into the 30s. We'll wake up in the 30s. Doubtful we'll see frost in the morning Thursday, even though it's cold enough for that. The main reason is that west wind at about 10 miles an hour. Take a look at these wind gusts. This is noon tomorrow. Winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. And as we go overnight, they settle down a little bit. Here's 5 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow as we go towards sunset. But they stay up most of the night into Thursday. And Thursday is when the real push of colder air starts moving in. And along with that, these strong wind gusts approaching 40 miles per hour. So a windy day coming Thursday. Be prepared for that. The winds really don't die down later in the week until we get to late Friday afternoon. Look at these high temperatures, 62 tomorrow. That's mainly in the morning. 50 Thursday, 51 Friday, overnight lows back in the 30s, so a big chill is on the way. And a look ahead to Thanksgiving. The whole week looks unsettled next week with rain chances throughout and cooler than normal temperatures.
Well, thank you, Brad. The chill is on the way. That is good for me to hear because definitely like colder weather, that is for sure. Thank you, Brad. But now a story out of Lawrence County where a murder suspect is asking authorities to grant her a request for a mental evaluation. Now, Auburn Moore, who you're seeing on screen, is charged in connection to the death of Dustin Grimes back in November of last year. Lawrence County prosecutors say Moore, Asia Hubbard, and Jordan Hernandez broke into Grimes' home before shooting and killing him and later kidnapping his wife. According to the Decatur Daily, prosecutors believe that Moore was in some sort of romantic relationship with Grimes before his death. But now let's head over back to the desk cam with a story in case you missed it. A Madison County man was recently indicted for impersonating an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer, also known as ICE. 48's Nick Ballinger with more.
It started with a knock at the door of a woman in Madison County. Investigators say this man, Harvey Fisher, armed with a gun, approached, claiming to be an ICE officer. Under threat, he was able to force his way inside to steal $17,000 from the unsuspecting woman. Decatur immigration attorney Kim Fasking says she's seen these intimidation tactics before.
Not specifically this type of case, but people who threaten others with ICE action. So they say, if you don't do X, Y, or Z, I'm going to call ICE on you.
This isn't Fisher's first run-in with law enforcement. In 2008, he was found guilty of robbery and assault. And then in 2016, he picked up a drug possession conviction. When I told Hilda Esquera, the president of the Alabama Hispanic Association, about his recent indictment, she couldn't believe it.
I was really shocked because in one time the ICE was doing raids and that kind of stuff, but it was many years ago.
She moved to the United States over 30 years ago. She's been helping immigrants here in the country ever since. Esquera says a lot of the immigrants she talks to now live in fear. Cultural differences, language barriers, and recent talks of mass deportation are putting them on edge.
They maybe are doing the papers legally, doing the process. So they said, well, maybe something that I didn't complete and they are coming here to tell me. Second, there is somebody who could be afraid. So in that situation, I can see somebody, please don't deport me. And they said, well, you got to give me this money, then everything is okay.
Well, thank you, Nick. And now in Madison, where 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy was today, following up with the son of a crossing guard who was hit by a car in front of West Madison Pre-K last month. Now, Jimmy Perdue says his mother, Terry, is expected to make a full recovery, but it's still going to take some time to get back to 100%. When Terry was hit by the car, her internal organs were severely bruised. She also suffered a severe brain injury. After the accident, Terry was hooked up to a ventilator and in a medical-induced coma. Jimmy said she is now off the oxygen completely and she is breathing on her own again. Take a listen to what Jimmy had to say about his mother's recovery.
We're looking at maybe January, February timeframe before she even gets to think about coming home. She's going to have a lot of physical therapy that she's going to have to do along with all this other therapy with relearning how to walk, and she's had to learn how to breathe on her own again essentially. She's had to learn how to eat again on her own, and her body, while her mind knows how to do it and she knows how to physically do it, her body has to learn how to digest things again and how to breathe in sync with her mind. The swallowing was a big thing. We did a swallow test yesterday, and what that did was that showed them, they watched her swallow things. They stuck a camera into her throat and watched her swallow, and they were able to see how she swallows, and all that is starting to work together now, so they decided she didn't need the feeding tube anymore because she was swallowing correctly now. So she's making good progress.
And that is great to hear, that is for sure. But now let's head out to Sand Mountain, where construction on a new courthouse in Jackson County is now underway. 48 Savannah Sapp yesterday spoke with Jackson County leaders on how the construction will be an improvement across the board. Take a look.
Dirt is moving in Jackson County. First, the Jackson County Courthouse, built in the early 1900s, is getting a facelift. Chairman Bill Nance says over time, the foundation beneath the building has begun to settle.
We're starting to see cracks in the walls, and we're starting to see issues of water and moisture intrusion into the exterior offices of the basement particularly.
Construction crews are installing helical piers to stop the settlement. The project is being paid for with $2 million of American Rescue Plan funds.
Due to the sinkage, that really needs to be done since it's a safety concern.
Paris Corneliuson is overseeing the project. She and her crews are also hard at work at another site in the county. Well, in a year's time, residents in Jackson County needing to renew their tags, pay their taxes, or even take a driver's test will no longer report to the downtown square. They'll come here to the former location of the county's DHR office on Liberty Lane, a location Chairman Nance says will provide easier access for those routine services.
It is a convenient location to get to be able to do those administrative needs that you have.
Nance says along with the typical administrative offices, the Liberty Lane location will also house the Jackson County Extension Office, but it will be a while until these offices open.
Every room is getting something done in it, whether that's paint on the wall or carpet.
Nance just asks that the community remains patient as these projects move forward.
What we're trying to do here is make sure that we renovate this and we repair the courthouse so that this courthouse is going to serve the people of Jackson County for generations and generations to come.
In Scottsboro, Savannah Sapp, 48 News, on your side.
Well, thank you, Savannah. Now, of course, out in the Shoals, where yesterday the University of North Alabama held a ceremony celebrating the lives of two beloved lions. 48's Aria Pons attended the ceremony yesterday, and it was roaring with love from many UNA community members. Take a look.
A special day for a special celebration. 22 years ago today is when Leo III and Una were born, so officials wanted to gather today to celebrate them one last time. Dozens of people flocked inside the lion habitat on UNA's campus to say their goodbyes to an era. UNA Vice President of Advancement Kevin Haslam says they not only wanted to honor Leo III, who passed away this year, and Una, who they also lost, but their caretakers as well, the Howards. Ann and Dan Howard took care of the lions for well over 20 years. And while Haslam says it won't be the same process of getting lions as it was 2 decades ago, there is some thought being put behind it. UNA President Ken Kitts has created a committee to look deeply into what it could mean to bring a lion back to the habitat.
The committee has been tasked with making a recommendation to the president on how they feel the university should proceed. The expectation is that there will be an initial report before December 1st, and we'll see where we go from there.
Haslam says that there will never be another era like the one with Leo III and Una ever again anyways. And there are a few things to think about in the decision for the committee. The habitat does need to be a bit bigger to fit regulation size, and it would take 2 years to obtain a lion cub in the right way nowadays. So even if they started today, it would take around 5 years and $7 million before they could get a lion back on campus. Reporting in Florence, Aria Pons, 48 on your side.
Well, sounds like a great time. Thank you, Aria. And you weren't lying. Certainly the end of an era. Una and Leo III are definitely greatly missed. But speaking of the University of North Alabama, a holiday kickoff event is coming to Bridge Street this Friday. That's right, the Lights Up Holiday Kickoff Show, presented by Shine on Gold, the comprehensive campaign for UNA, will take to Bridge Street Friday starting at 4:30. UNA mascots, Christmas characters, Sprocket from the Trash Pandas, he'll be there celebrating his 5th birthday, and of course, the Holly Jolly Saint Nick himself will be there as well. The 45-foot Christmas tree at Bridge Street will also get lit up for the very first time this holiday season. And today, I spoke with Bridge Street Marketing Director Haley Lowry on the annual holiday kickoff show. And take a listen to where proceeds for the event go towards. The proceeds for the light show benefits Kids to Love. Haley, speak a bit about Kids to Love and what makes it such a great nonprofit, especially during this time of the year.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's great because it's a local nonprofit. We love partnering with the community and everything local. Kids to Love has partnered with us many years now. I can't even count. And they do their big setup with that Banks and Motorhomes RV in the Dick's Sporting Goods parking lot. They wrap gifts there. They also take up donations there for kids in foster care. And they also, I think, do a kind of like an angel tree where you can go and pick out an angel and get those gifts for a specific child in foster care. So it's a great organization, and we love being able to partner with them every year.
And that stays there throughout the holiday season outside of the Dick's Sporting Goods?
Yes, they are there throughout the holiday season. You can find their hours and everything on our website, bridgestreethuntsville.com. It's under the play page. You can find all the details for that RV and the hours that they're going to be open and wrapping gifts.
Great interview today with Haley. You can watch that full 48 Now interview with more details on Friday's Light Show on our website right now. Just go to WAFF.com, go to digital shows, and then finally 48 Now. But now, well, we are officially 1 week away from the start of the Thanksgiving travel rush. With AAA forecasting nearly 80 million of us will be packing planes and hitting the roads to go visit family and friends. So what should travelers expect as we kick off the holiday season? NBC's Tom Costello has more.
It's already one of the busiest times of the year to travel, but this Thanksgiving is shaping up to be a record breaker. AAA says a whopping 71.1 million Americans will hit the highways. That's 1.3 million more than last year. The good news, relief at the pump. The national average now $3.06 a gallon, according to Gas Buddy. A year ago, it was $3.30. 12 states right now have averages below $2.75 a gallon.
What's driving gas prices lower?
Well, a lot of it is merely seasonal. Gasoline demand declining into the cooler weather, but a global slowdown in the economy is also behind lower global demand. That's pushing oil and gas prices down abroad as well.
Another trend this Thanksgiving, Americans are headed to warm weather, with the top 3 domestic destinations all in the Sunshine State. Meanwhile, the nation's airports are preparing for busy runways. In total, the TSA expecting to screen 18.3 million passengers and crew from next Tuesday through Monday, December 2nd. And watch this wild card, winter weather, with much of the continental U.S. facing rain and snow fronts ahead of Thanksgiving week.
Much of the country has a chance for above normal rainfall patterns. This means numerous storms moving across the country.
The TSA says the 3 busiest travel days will be the Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Sunday after the holiday.
We have seen record-breaking travel really since the lows of the pandemic, and we can expect it to continue. This year, about 5% more capacity is scheduled over Thanksgiving week.
All of it setting up for a busy December in the skies as well.
So if you haven't bought your ticket yet for Christmas, book it now.
Definitely be looking at prices and expect to book in the next 2 weeks or so.
Well, thank you. Busy year for travel, no doubt about it. But 2 days ago was National Warrior Call Day, a day meant to focus on the mental health of our nation's veterans in hopes of cutting down on the suicide rate among those who have served. Experts say a simple phone call can make a huge difference. Colton Chavez spoke with World War II veteran in Colorado whose granddaughter gave him a ring yesterday just to check in on her father. And take a look.
Oops, here it is. Hello.
Hey, Grandpa, how are you?
Larry Balderson says serving in the Navy during World War II showed him just how big the world can be.
Did you see your World War II hat?
I had it on.
Now he likes to share his stories and his time.
I'm proud of it. I mean,
you should be proud of it.
With his family that feels just as big.
55 grandchildren, and I don't see them all the time, but I do get to see them all. So
55 grandkids that fill his heart and all of these pictures.
My wife and I was married for 73 years. She took good care of me. And since then, my daughter's been taking care of me, so I guess that's it.
His granddaughter Kelly Dolman lives in Florida and likes to stay in touch.
Sometimes you're like, oh, I'll get to that later, but it's important to make that phone call, and then you feel good and they feel good too.
And researchers say it could help save a life. The VA says veterans die by suicide at a higher rate than the rest of the people in the U.S., and helping them feel less lonely or isolated could reduce that risk.
That's where he gets his joy, when he talks to his family.
Yeah, this is grandkids. Tracy, and these are all grandkids.
Larry says he has never struggled with his mental health.
Since my wife passed away, and my kids, my grandkids, they call me all the time, and I call them. And I mean, that's really important, really important.
But he admits in this big world,
yeah, he did,
it can get lonely.
Yeah, we had front row seats.
So he's glad that he can count on his family to always answer his call.
Well, I just wanted to call and say hi, and I'll give you a call later, okay?
Okay, sweetie, love you.
Okay, I love you too. Bye,
Okay,
Grandpa.
bye-bye, sweetheart.
Incredibly sweet story there. Awesome. And now here's another one for you. Students at a North Dakota elementary school got a surprise visit from a mini donkey named Corn Dog. And Corn Dog delivered a special message to the students. He's helping teachers instill a love of reading and proving that reading is fun. Local News Live correspondent Jody Kurtzman has more.
Okay, first graders.
This might be Meg Holcup's craziest idea yet.
You guys have been reading a book. No one batted an eye when I said I have a crazy idea. A burro!
Meg is the library media specialist at Bismarck's Solheim Elementary.
We're just trying to bring some deeper meaning to what the students are learning.
First graders have been reading the book, waiting for the biblioburro.
It is about a girl who's waiting for donkeys to come bring her library books. And so naturally we just thought, let's bring a donkey.
And so naturally,
our special guest
on this day, Corn Dog the donkey made a stop at school.
Here he comes.
It's really opening up their imagination. They get excited to find connections between stories.
There's 2 donkeys in the story.
Just like in the book, Corn Dog brought books for the kids.
His pack wasn't very big.
He also brought some important lessons.
He mostly
about the importance of reading and about how books can change lives.
They're so used to being able to go to a library, and they're learning that students or other children like them don't have the access to libraries. So for them to see this donkey and to see what it's really like for other kids around the world, I hope that they just how fortunate they are to have the things that they have here.
First grader Madison Dyes already loved books.
They're kind of like nice, and I like the pictures.
But now, she says, thanks to Corn Dog, she's even more excited to find her next good book. In Bismarck, I'm Jody Kurzman, reporting for your news leader.
How awesome is that? Corn Dog is a cutie pie. There is no doubt about it. And what an awesome thing that he's doing, getting children to read. Children, if you are watching right now, make sure you are reading. It is important to do, and it helps the mind without a doubt. But now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. Wreaths for Veterans, volunteers helping lay wreaths on graves of veterans here in Madison County. Get the latest details on that story. Another story you're just not going to want to miss. Catching up with the new police chief of the Littleville Police Department just months after most of the officers left. Get that story from Aria Pons. And finally, a new forensics lab opening here in Huntsville. 48's Noah Cowell will have the latest on that story coming up in our evening newscast. And these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up. And now it is time for Facebook Fun. We have 1 minute left, so we are going to fly through this. But yesterday's 48 Facebook question of the day is, what do you get the most compliments about? And let's see what you all had to say. Gail said, the cookies I make. Gail, I would love to try your cookies sometime. I'm sure they are stunning. Thank you, Gail. Carol said, her eyes, my piano playing. I always wanted to play piano. I play a little guitar, but piano, great instrument to know. Carol, thank you. Rebecca said, my hair, green thumb, and my cooking. And that is awesome. Well, thank you all for commenting. That is about all the time I have in today's Before the Four, but I want to thank you for sticking around with me and spending just a little bit of your Tuesday afternoon here. That's all the time I have, so make sure you download the 48 Digital app, the 48 First Alert Weather app, and of course the 48 Sports Zone app. Turn on those push notifications and you will never miss a breaking news story. But with that said, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.